Respect is something every human being deserves, yet there are moments in life when we encounter people who don't value us, who try to belittle us, or who simply disregard our worth. Facing such situations can be painful and discouraging, but it also gives us an opportunity to strengthen our character and build inner resilience. When someone doesn't respect you, the way you respond determines whether they gain power over you or whether you rise above their negativity with grace and strength. Today, I want to share 5 powerful ways to deal with people who don't respect you so that you can protect your dignity, maintain your peace, and show others that their behavior does not define you. Recognizing your self-worth is the foundation of handling people who don't respect you. Without this inner strength, disrespectful words and actions from others can easily shake your confidence and make you doubt yourself. But when you deeply understand your value, no one else's opinion can determine how you feel about yourself. This is the shield that protects you against negativity, rejection, and belittling behavior. Many people fall into the trap of allowing others to define their worth. For example, if someone criticizes them harshly, they immediately assume that criticism must be true. If a colleague, friend, or even a family member ignores or disrespects them, they start believing they are not good enough. This mindset is dangerous because it hands over your self-image to people who may not have your best interests at heart. True strength begins when you realize that respect starts with how you see yourself, not with how others treat you. Recognizing your self-worth means accepting that you are valuable simply because you exist. You don't need someone's approval to validate your importance. Every individual has unique qualities, talents, and potential that cannot be diminished by someone else's opinion. Think of a diamond. Even if someone throws it into the mud, it doesn't lose its value. In the same way, disrespectful behavior does not reduce who you are. It only reveals the weakness or insecurity of the person showing that behavior. When you embrace your worth, you respond differently to disrespect. Instead of reacting with anger or feeling crushed, you see the situation from a place of strength. You remind yourself, I deserve respect, even if this person fails to give it. This mental shift keeps you from internalizing their negativity. You stop thinking, what's wrong with me? And start realizing their behavior reflects them, not me. That perspective alone can prevent unnecessary emotional damage. One powerful way to build self-worth is through positive self-talk. The words you speak to yourself are far more powerful than the words others speak about you. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not capable, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, you weaken your own confidence. But if you practice affirmations like, I am valuable, I am capable, and I deserve respect, you gradually train your mind to believe in your worth regardless of outside opinions. Over time, this becomes a natural defense against disrespect. Another way to recognize your worth is by reflecting on your achievements, values, and strengths. Write down the things you've accomplished, the challenges you've overcome, and the qualities that make you unique. This exercise reminds you that you bring something important to the world, even if others fail to acknowledge it. When you carry this awareness with you, you naturally stand taller and speak with more confidence, making it harder for people to disregard you. Self-worth also involves setting standards for yourself. When you know your value, you no longer settle for unhealthy relationships, toxic workplaces, or unfair treatment. You learn to walk away from situations where your dignity is constantly undermined. This doesn't mean you are arrogant. It means you respect yourself enough not to allow ongoing disrespect to define your environment. People often treat us based on what we allow, and recognizing your worth helps you set the tone for how you expect to be treated. It's also important to understand that recognizing your self-worth is not about being perfect. Many people tie their value to external things like success, beauty, wealth, or popularity, but true self-worth comes from knowing that even without achievements, even on your worst days, you still deserve kindness and respect. Perfection is not required to be valuable. You are valuable simply because you are human. Ultimately, when you recognize your self-worth, disrespect loses its power over you. The words or actions of others may sting for a moment, but they cannot shake your core belief in yourself. You walk into every situation knowing that your value is not up for debate. This quiet confidence commands respect, and even those who try to put you down begin to see that their behavior cannot control you. So, remember, the first step in dealing with people who don't respect you is to respect yourself. Recognize your self-worth, hold on to it firmly, and let it guide every response you give. When you know your value, no one can make you feel worthless, no matter how hard they try. When dealing with people who don't respect you, one of the most powerful tools you have is the ability to set clear boundaries. Boundaries are like invisible lines that define what behavior you will accept and what behavior you will not. They are not about controlling others. They are about teaching others how to treat you and protecting your own emotional, mental, and even physical well-being. Without boundaries, disrespectful people feel free to cross limits and treat you however they want. With boundaries, you show them that you value yourself enough to demand respect. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear conflict, rejection, or being seen as too harsh. They believe that if they say no, someone will get upset, and so they choose to stay silent and tolerate behavior that hurts them. But in reality, every time you allow someone to overstep without addressing it, you reinforce the message that their behavior is acceptable. Over time, this not only damages your confidence, but also encourages the other person to continue their disrespect. Boundaries, therefore, are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting your dignity and creating healthier interactions. Setting boundaries begins with self-awareness. You must first know what kind of behavior makes you uncomfortable, drains your energy, or violates your values. For example, if someone constantly interrupts you when you're speaking, that's a violation of respect. If a coworker often dumps their responsibilities on you, that crosses a line. If a friend belittles your achievements in the name of jokes, that's another boundary violation. Recognizing these situations helps you identify where you need to draw the line. Once you're clear on what behaviors you won't tolerate, the next step is communicating those boundaries calmly but firmly. The way you express yourself is very important. Yelling or insulting back only escalates conflict. Instead, use assertive yet respectful language. For example, you can say, "I'd appreciate it if you allow me to finish speaking," or "I'm not comfortable being spoken to in that tone. If this continues, I'll have to step away from the conversation." These statements are not aggressive. They are direct, confident, and make your expectations clear. Another important part of boundaries is consistency. If you set a boundary but don't enforce it, people won't take it seriously. Imagine telling someone, "Please don't call me names," but then laughing it off when they do it again. This sends mixed signals, and the disrespect continues. To be effective, you must consistently uphold your boundaries. That doesn't mean being harsh. It simply means showing that you mean what you say. Over time, people begin to understand that crossing your boundaries has consequences. Boundaries also apply to time and energy. People who don't respect you may constantly demand your attention or take advantage of your kindness. In such cases, you need to say no without guilt. For example, if someone repeatedly asks for favors but never respects your effort, you can respond with, "I can't help this time. I have other priorities." Saying no is not selfish. It's a sign that you respect your own needs. It's worth remembering that some people will resist your boundaries, especially if they've been benefiting from your lack of them. They may get angry, criticize you, or accuse you of being difficult. But this reaction often proves that your boundaries are necessary. People who genuinely respect you will eventually adapt, while those who refuse to honor your limits are showing you that they don't deserve close access to you. The beauty of setting boundaries is that it doesn't just change how others treat you, it changes how you see yourself. Every time you enforce a boundary, you remind yourself that your peace, your dignity, and your well-being matter. You gain confidence knowing that you are not powerless against disrespect. You are in control of how you allow others to behave around you. In the end, boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are gates that let the right people in and keep harmful behavior out. When you set clear boundaries, you create an environment where respect becomes the standard. You protect your self-worth, conserve your energy, and teach others that you are not someone who can be disrespected without consequence. Boundaries are not just powerful, they are essential for a healthy, confident, and fulfilling life. One of the most powerful lessons in dealing with people who don't respect you is learning to choose your battles wisely. Not every rude comment, dismissive gesture, or disrespectful action requires a response. If you try to fight every single instance of disrespect, you'll end up exhausted, frustrated, and constantly in conflict. But if you develop the wisdom to know when to stand up for yourself and when to let go, you protect your peace while still commanding respect when it truly matters. People often make the mistake of reacting immediately to every form of disrespect. For example, if someone makes a sarcastic remark, the instinctive response might be to snap back with an insult of your own. But what happens? The situation escalates, emotions rise, and instead of resolving the issue, both sides feel attacked. In the end, your energy is wasted, and the disrespectful person gets exactly what they wanted: your attention and frustration. Choosing your battles wisely means recognizing that not every situation is worth your time or energy. Sometimes silence is the strongest response. Ignoring petty or attention-seeking behavior sends a clear message: you will not waste your energy on immaturity. For instance, if someone rolls their eyes at your opinion in a meeting, responding with anger only gives them power. But if you ignore the gesture and continue speaking confidently, you maintain control of the room while showing that their disrespect has no impact on you. Silence can often be more powerful than words, because it denies the other person the reaction they are seeking. However, there are times when disrespect crosses a line and cannot be ignored. Repeated insults, harmful actions, or behavior that affects your dignity or well-being must be addressed. Choosing your battles wisely does not mean avoiding conflict altogether. It means saving your energy for situations where standing up for yourself will make a real difference. For example, if a coworker continually takes credit for your work, staying silent will only encourage them to keep doing it. In such cases, addressing the issue calmly but firmly is necessary to protect your professional reputation and self-respect. The key is to evaluate the cost of responding versus not responding. Ask yourself, will this matter tomorrow, next week, or next year? Is this disrespect coming from someone whose opinion truly affects my life, or from someone whose behavior reflects more on them than on me? If the issue is minor and temporary, letting it go may be the smarter choice. But if it damages your dignity, reputation, or long-term peace, it's worth confronting. Another factor in choosing your battles is considering the environment. Some situations are not the right time or place to challenge disrespect. Confronting someone in front of an audience may escalate tension and make the situation worse. In such cases, it's often better to wait until later to address the issue privately. This shows maturity and self-control, while still making it clear that you will not tolerate ongoing disrespect. Choosing your battles wisely also helps you maintain emotional balance. When you don't feel the need to fight every small disrespect, you save your energy for more important matters in life. You become less reactive and more intentional with your responses. This creates an image of strength because people see that you are not easily shaken or provoked. They begin to realize that their attempts to disrespect you will not get the reaction they want, which often leads to them changing their behavior. Ultimately, wisdom in choosing battles comes from self-confidence. When you truly believe in your worth, you no longer feel the need to prove yourself to everyone who disrespects you. You understand that their behavior is a reflection of their character, not yours. This inner strength allows you to walk away when it's best and to stand tall when it's necessary. In conclusion, choosing your battles wisely is about balance. It's about knowing when silence is more powerful than words and when speaking up is necessary for your dignity. It's about conserving your energy, protecting your peace, and demonstrating that you are in control of your reactions. By mastering this skill, you not only handle disrespect more effectively, but also show the world that your strength lies not in constant conflict, but in wisdom, patience, and self-respect. When dealing with people who don't respect you, one of the most important strategies is to surround yourself with supportive people. The environment you place yourself in has a profound impact on your confidence, self-worth, and emotional well-being. If you are constantly around people who belittle you, ignore you, or treat you as if you are unimportant, it becomes difficult to maintain a positive self-image. But when you spend your time with individuals who value, uplift, and respect you, their energy strengthens you and helps you face disrespect with greater resilience. Human beings naturally absorb the attitudes of those around them. If your circle is filled with negativity, criticism, and disrespect, you may start to internalize those behaviors and question your worth. On the other hand, when you are surrounded by supportive people, friends, family members, mentors, or colleagues, you are constantly reminded that you are valued, capable, and deserving of respect. This positive reinforcement builds a shield around you, making it easier to brush off the disrespect of others. Supportive people not only encourage you but also help you maintain perspective. Sometimes, when someone disrespects you, it can feel overwhelming and personal. You may begin to wonder if you did something wrong or if their criticism is valid. A supportive person, however, can remind you that disrespect usually reflects the character of the other person, not your own value. They provide clarity when your emotions are clouded, reassuring you that one person's poor behavior does not define you. Another benefit of surrounding yourself with supportive people is the confidence they help you develop. For instance, if a coworker consistently undervalues your contributions, a supportive mentor or friend might remind you of your skills and encourage you to speak up. Their encouragement empowers you to stand up for yourself in situations where you may have otherwise stayed silent. In this way, supportive people act as a safety net, giving you the courage to uphold your boundaries and maintain your self-respect. It's also important to recognize that support is not about flattery or blind agreement. True supportive people are honest, constructive, and genuinely invested in your growth. They may give you feedback when you need it, but they do so in a way that respects your dignity. Unlike those who disrespect you to pull you down, supportive people challenge you to become better while still affirming your worth. This balance creates a healthy environment where you can grow without feeling diminished. Surrounding yourself with supportive people also teaches you what real respect looks like. If you've spent too much time with people who disrespect you, you may start to think their behavior is normal. But once you experience consistent respect and kindness from others, you realize that you don't have to tolerate poor treatment. You learn to raise your standards and walk away from those who fail to honor your boundaries. Building a supportive circle requires effort. You may need to distance yourself from toxic relationships, even if they are long-standing ones. This can be difficult, especially when disrespect comes from people close to you, like family members or long-time friends. But prioritizing your well-being means choosing relationships that add value to your life, not those that drain your energy. Seek out people who inspire you, who celebrate your victories, and who stand by you in tough times. These are the relationships that will sustain you through life's challenges. The truth is, no one can completely avoid disrespect. At some point, you will encounter people who try to bring you down. But if you have a strong, supportive network around you, their disrespect will feel smaller in comparison. Instead of focusing on the few who devalue you, you will find strength in the many who respect and believe in you. Their encouragement will remind you of your worth, making it easier to handle negativity with grace. In conclusion, surrounding yourself with supportive people is not just about avoiding disrespect. It's about creating a foundation of love, respect, and encouragement that helps you thrive. Supportive people lift you up, remind you of your value, and give you the strength to face those who don't treat you well. They help you maintain your dignity, boost your confidence, and teach you that respect is not just something you demand. It's something you should also receive naturally in healthy relationships. By choosing to keep supportive people close, you empower yourself to rise above disrespect and live a life built on respect, strength, and positivity. When you encounter people who don't respect you, it is natural to feel hurt, frustrated, or even tempted to respond in the same disrespectful way. However, one of the most powerful approaches you can take is to lead by example. This means showing others, through your behavior, how respect should look and how dignity should be carried. It's not about pretending disrespect doesn't exist, but about choosing a higher standard of conduct that reflects your strength and character. Leading by example begins with self-control. When someone disrespects you, your first impulse might be to snap back with harsh words or actions. But in doing so, you give them the satisfaction of dragging you into negativity. Instead, when you remain calm and composed, you demonstrate that you cannot be easily provoked or controlled. Your response, or even your silence, becomes a statement of power. People begin to see that you are not reactive but intentional, and that alone earns more respect than heated arguments ever could. Another aspect of leading by example is practicing the very respect you expect from others. If you want others to speak kindly to you, you must also speak kindly, even when disagreeing. If you want people to listen when you talk, you must show the courtesy of listening to them as well. This does not mean tolerating disrespect. It means refusing to mirror bad behavior, By consistently embodying respect, you create a standard for how interactions should take place. Over time, this can influence even those who were initially dismissive toward you. Leading by example also involves demonstrating resilience. Disrespectful people often try to undermine your confidence, hoping you'll feel small or defeated. But when you continue to pursue your goals, succeed in your efforts, and remain confident despite their negativity, you show them that their behavior has no power over you. In many cases, success itself becomes the strongest response to disrespect. Instead of wasting energy fighting petty actions, you channel that energy into progress, and your achievements speak louder than any insult. Another way to lead by example is through kindness and empathy. This doesn't mean excusing or tolerating disrespectful behavior, but it does mean recognizing that sometimes people act out of insecurity, jealousy, or personal struggles. By treating them with basic courtesy, even when they fail to show it to you, you maintain your integrity. You show that your behavior is rooted in your values, not in someone else's shortcomings. This often disarms negativity because it's hard for people to continue disrespecting someone who refuses to retaliate with the same attitude. It's also worth remembering that other people are always watching how you respond. Whether in your workplace, family, or community, your reaction to disrespect sets an example for others who may be going through similar experiences. If you choose to rise above, you inspire others to do the same. If you choose to lash out, you unintentionally reinforce the cycle of disrespect. By leading with strength, patience, and dignity, you show those around you that respect is not demanded with force. It is earned through consistent character. However, leading by example does not mean being passive or silent in the face of mistreatment. It means addressing issues firmly but respectfully. For example, instead of yelling at someone who insults you, you can calmly say, "I don't appreciate that kind of language, and I expect a respectful conversation." This way, you defend yourself without losing composure, and you show others how boundaries can be upheld with dignity. In the long run, people may forget what was said in moments of conflict, but they will always remember how you carried yourself. If you respond with maturity, self-control, and respect, even those who once disrespected you may eventually recognize your strength and adjust their behavior. More importantly, you will know that you did not compromise your values, and that self-respect is far more important than proving a point. In conclusion, leading by example is about setting a standard of respect through your own actions. It means staying composed, practicing the respect you expect, showing resilience, choosing kindness, and firmly defending yourself without hostility. By doing this, you send a powerful message. You cannot control how others treat you, but you are always in control of how you respond. And when you consistently choose dignity over negativity, you not only protect your self-worth, but also inspire others to rise to the same standard. When dealing with people who don't respect you, one of the most important things you must learn is how to protect your inner peace. Disrespect can disturb your mind, hurt your emotions, and drain your energy if you allow it to. The words or actions of others may be beyond your control, but your reaction and your peace of mind are always within your control. Protecting your inner peace means refusing to let negativity dictate your thoughts, emotions, or happiness. It is about staying centered and calm, no matter what is happening around you. Disrespect often feels personal, but in reality, it usually reflects more about the person showing it than about you. People may disrespect others because of insecurity, jealousy, or their own struggles. If you absorb their negativity, you end up carrying a burden that was never yours to begin with. Protecting your inner peace starts with this realization: what they say or do does not define who you are. You don't have to internalize every insult or negative remark. Instead, you can choose to detach emotionally, understanding that their behavior belongs to them, not to you. One effective way to protect your inner peace is through emotional boundaries. This means deciding what kind of energy you will allow into your mental space. For example, if someone continually belittles or mocks you, you can choose not to engage in long conversations with them. You can also limit your exposure to toxic environments where you know disrespect is constant. Protecting your peace doesn't always mean confronting every offender. Sometimes it simply means stepping back and guarding your space. Another way to maintain peace is by practicing mindfulness. Disrespect can cause your mind to spiral with thoughts like, "Why did they say that? What's wrong with me? How can I get back at them?" This mental replay only keeps the pain alive. Instead, mindfulness teaches you to bring your focus back to the present moment. Breathing deeply, meditating, or simply pausing to calm your mind helps you let go of unnecessary stress. You realize that you don't need to fight every battle in your head, and you can choose peace over endless overthinking. Protecting your inner peace also involves learning the power of letting go. Holding grudges against people who disrespect you only keeps you tied to their negativity. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Forgiveness, in this sense, is not about excusing their actions. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional weight they placed on you. When you let go, you take back control of your emotions and create space for peace to grow. Another powerful tool is focusing on self-care. When your body and mind are well cared for, you are naturally more resilient to negativity. Exercise, healthy eating, rest, journaling, or spending time in nature all strengthen your mental and emotional well-being. Surrounding yourself with activities and people that bring you joy makes it harder for disrespect to penetrate your inner world. Peace is not something you wait for. It is something you intentionally create through your daily habits and choices. It is also important to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing disrespect as an attack that ruins your peace, you can see it as an opportunity to practice patience, self-control, and inner strength. Every time you face disrespect but manage to remain calm, you become stronger. You prove to yourself that your peace does not depend on how others treat you, but on how you choose to respond. Finally, remember that protecting your inner peace sometimes requires distance. Not everyone deserves close access to your life. If someone repeatedly disrespects you despite your efforts to set boundaries, it may be best to walk away from that relationship. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is necessary for your well-being. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and allowing constant negativity will only drain you. Choosing peace means choosing yourself, and that is one of the strongest decisions you can make. In conclusion, protecting your inner peace is about taking back control of your emotions and refusing to let disrespect rob you of your happiness. It means setting emotional boundaries, practicing mindfulness, letting go of grudges, prioritizing self-care, and when needed, creating distance from toxic people. Disrespect may come your way, but your response determines whether it destroys your calm or strengthens your resilience. When you protect your inner peace, you rise above negativity and live from a place of strength, balance, and dignity.